Millions of years ago, long before cities, technology, and modern civilization, humans lived in a world ruled by survival. Every sunrise brought a new challenge, and every mistake could mean the difference between life and death. These early humans were not powerful like the creatures around them, but they had something greater than strength. They had curiosity, imagination, and the ability to learn from the world around them. At first, they only searched for food, shelter, and safety from the dangers of nature. But slowly, their journey would take them farther than they ever imagined. The first humans were born in a harsh world, but that world would shape their future forever. They did not know it yet, but their greatest transformation was about to begin. The journey of humanity would not be written in books, but in footsteps across the earth. Every step they took would slowly change the story of what it meant to be human. Their greatest adventure was not about conquering the planet, but learning how to survive on it. And hidden within this forgotten journey was the story of how humans became who they are today. As generations passed, early humans began to explore beyond the lands where they were born. They followed rivers, searched for food, and moved toward places they had never seen before. Their journey was not easy because every new land brought new dangers. They faced freezing nights, dangerous predators, and environments completely different from their home. But humans had a powerful advantage: the ability to adapt. They changed their tools, their clothing, and their way of living to survive. Slowly, small groups of humans spread across deserts, forests, and unknown territories. Each new environment tested them, but each challenge made them stronger. Over thousands of years, humans reached places their ancestors never imagined. They entered colder regions where survival required completely new strategies. They entered new climates, and nature slowly began leaving its mark on them. The journey across the earth was beginning to transform humanity in ways no one could have predicted. The environment around them would slowly shape their bodies, their cultures, and their future. But one of the greatest changes in human history was still waiting to happen. The forgotten journey that began with a few footsteps had become the beginning of a transformation that would change humanity forever. As humans moved into different parts of the world, nature began shaping them in unexpected ways. The world around them was changing, and their bodies slowly responded to those challenges. One of the biggest changes happened because of the relationship between humans and sunlight. Early humans living near the equator experienced strong sunlight for thousands of generations. Their darker skin helped protect them from the intense rays of the sun. But as some groups traveled farther away, they entered places with much weaker sunlight. In these new environments, humans faced a completely different challenge. Their bodies needed to find new ways to survive in places where sunlight was limited. Over many generations, small differences slowly appeared among human populations. These changes were not sudden, but the result of thousands of years of adaptation. Humans were not becoming different because they were separate, but because they were adapting to different worlds. Every change carried a message about the incredible ability of humans to survive. The journey of humanity was not a story of becoming better or worse, but a story of becoming different. The same species that walked across Africa would eventually live on every continent of the earth. But the greatest transformation was still hidden in the future, waiting for humanity to discover it. Thousands of years after humans began spreading across the earth, the world was filled with different communities. They lived separated by oceans, mountains, and vast distances, creating their own unique ways of life. But despite their differences, they all carried the same ancient story within them. The changes humans experienced were not signs of different beginnings, but evidence of one incredible journey. Their languages changed, their cultures grew, and their traditions became unique. Humans began creating tools, art, and ideas that would transform the future. The same curiosity that helped them survive would eventually lead to the birth of civilizations. Humans learned to control fire, build shelters, and work together in larger groups. Their greatest weapon was never their strength, but their ability to imagine a better future. Every invention, every discovery, and every civilization began with a simple human thought. But as humans changed their world continued changing them. The environments they lived in influenced their lifestyles, their survival methods, and their future generations. From frozen lands to burning deserts, humans proved they could survive almost anywhere. The journey that started with a small group of humans had become a story covering the entire planet. But the final chapter of this transformation would reveal something even more surprising about humanity. For thousands of years, humans did more than survive. They began to understand and reshape the world around them. Their greatest discovery was not a tool or a weapon, but the power of knowledge. Humans started passing information from one generation to another. With every lesson they learned, their chances of survival became stronger. The human mind became the greatest tool they ever possessed. They began creating art, not because they needed it to survive, but because they wanted to express their thoughts. The walls of caves became the first pages of humanity's story. As humans learned to cooperate, small groups slowly became larger communities. They discovered that working together allowed them to achieve things no individual could do alone. Over time, villages grew, and the first steps toward civilization began. Humans learned to grow food, create permanent homes, and organize their societies. The world that once belonged only to nature was slowly becoming shaped by human hands. But every great achievement came with new challenges and new responsibilities. Humanity was no longer just trying to survive. It was beginning to create history. The forgotten journey that began with a few footsteps had now become the foundation of the world we know today. Even after humans built communities, their journey of transformation was far from over. The world continued changing, and humans had to change with it. Climate, geography, and resources quietly influenced the way humans lived. A community near water lived differently from one surrounded by mountains or deserts. Every environment created new problems, but it also created new opportunities. Humans began studying nature and discovering patterns that helped them survive. They watched the skies, measured time, and searched for answers beyond themselves. Knowledge became something that could be passed down, protected, and expanded. But humanity's greatest changes often came from unexpected discoveries. Simple ideas slowly became inventions that transformed everyday life. The human story was shaped not by one great moment, but by thousands of small discoveries. Every generation added something new to the journey their ancestors started. The same curiosity that once helped humans survive would eventually help them explore the entire planet. Humanity was no longer just adapting to the world, it was beginning to reshape it. But behind every advancement was a deeper story about how humans became the species they are today. After thousands of years of change, humans had transformed the planet and themselves. The small groups that once wandered through the wilderness had become connected societies across the earth. Their greatest achievement was not only surviving, but building a world their ancestors could never have imagined. From simple shelters, humans created homes, cities, and civilizations that reached toward the sky. But the greatest transformation was not in their buildings, it was in their minds. The curiosity that once helped them discover fire would later help them explore oceans, skies, and space. Humanity became a species defined by questions, discoveries, and endless exploration. Yet beneath all the changes, humans remained connected by a shared origin. The differences we see today are only chapters of the same ancient story. Every face, every culture, and every civilization carries traces of the journey that came before. The story of humanity is not about separate paths, but one incredible journey shared by everyone. From the first footsteps on ancient soil to the modern world, humans have always been changing. The journey that began with survival became a story of creativity, intelligence, and discovery. But even today, the human journey is not finished. Because the same curiosity that transformed ancient humans continues to push humanity toward the unknown. The story of ancient humans is not just about where we came from, but about everything we overcame. Every step our ancestors took was a step toward the world we live in today. They faced dangers we can barely imagine, but they continued moving forward. Their survival was not because they were the strongest creatures on Earth, but because they learned, adapted, and worked together. The greatest lesson from ancient humans is that change has always been part of our story. The world changed them, but they also changed the world around them. From the first fire they controlled to the cities they created, every achievement began with curiosity. The same curiosity that helped ancient humans survive still drives humanity today. We are not separate from the people who walked the earth thousands of years ago. Their struggles, discoveries, and dreams became the foundation of our existence. The journey of humanity is a reminder that even small beginnings can create extraordinary futures. Millions of footsteps created a path that eventually led to us. The forgotten journey of ancient humans is not only history, it is the story of every person alive today. And as humanity continues moving forward, one thing remains unchanged: our desire to explore the unknown. Because the journey that transformed ancient humans is still continuing, and the next chapter belongs to us.